You may be wondering if this is a spiritual channel. Why am I spending some time creating a video about setting right habits? Shouldn't that be something, someone who's focused on productivity or just general practical life tips would be focused on? Why would I cover that in spirituality? Well, the truth is that habits have the power to change our lives. And without the right habits, no matter how much spiritual understanding we have, no matter how much spiritual insight or wisdom we have, we really can't go all that far at all. It's about not transforming that wisdom into an intention and then into an action plan, into a set of steps and behaviors, doing that for a period of time so that we can actually create real change in our lives. You see, change doesn't just happen on a mental level. Change has to happen on a physical level. It has to manifest, right? It has to emerge into our actual daily lives. And that's what I really wanted to focus on this video, because I've now recently discovered how important habits are. I used to be someone that, while I wouldn't say I was a creature of habit, uh, I would sometimes have habits, but I kind of did things a little bit more ad hoc. And often it would happen where I would get frustrated that I wasn't seeing the progress that I wanted to see. And sure enough, after a short period of time, I would give up. And then I'd be even more depressed or sad. Why did I give up? And it'd just be kind of this negative cycle of thinking and self-talk that I really struggled to get out of. So much so that I would just be like, you know what, it's not that important. When in reality, it was important because I was thinking about it, I was dwelling upon it. And so recently, I've kind of, probably over the last few months, I've sort of practiced the art of setting good habits in all areas of my life, not just in spiritual components, but just in terms of how I eat or when I sleep, or just the day-to-day practices that I do, and doing so consistently. And that's a key part of it, because what I've discovered um, is the art of doing a little a lot. And what does that mean? The art of doing a little a lot. It used to be that I would always do things a lot, but a little. Like in the days where I used to play guitar, believe it or not, I used to play electric guitar. But in the days that I used to play guitar, I wanted to become, this great guitarist. And I had dreams even to be a rock star and to join a band, believe it or not. Um, and I would sometimes practice, maybe, I kid you not, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. But was that every day? It definitely wasn't. It was probably once a month or once every couple of weeks, and then the rest of the days, yeah, maybe I would practice half an hour there, there, an hour here, but it wasn't anything consistent. And sure enough, I wasn't seeing any progress. And it's only upon looking back now that I realized, well, if I only just practiced an hour a day, forget 2 hours, 3 hours, even 5, 6 hours, if I only just practiced an hour a day, where would I be today? 20 years later? I would probably be pretty proficient at the guitar. I probably wouldn't be, rocking out this, cool, this nice looking hairstyle and, producing some really insane riffs, but I probably would be very proficient, enough that I can enjoy the instrument and enjoy creating music and so on and so forth. So it just goes to show you that it's not about doing things a lot at once at a short period of time. It's about doing little, but doing it so that it's sustainable. Now, if you guys have noticed, I've been creating videos now once a week for almost 3 years now, coming up this August. And I know that by the time this video will come out, it probably will be in September. So hopefully I can continue that trend, but you get the picture. It's because I tried not to overcommit. I realized that, it'd be great to do videos more than once a week, but given my lifestyle and the fact that it's only gotten more busier since the time that I started, it's almost, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's very, very difficult to try to do it more than once a week. But once a week is a great cadence, and it's something that I'm really happy that up until this point I've continued. Now, will that continue going forward? I'm not sure. I'll try my best, but I'm also not being too hard on myself either, because I realize that, I'm doing this out of the joy of my heart. It's not something that I need to do to put money on the table or for some other sort of external reason. But it's about doing a little, a little, a little, a little. A drop in a drop can make an entire river. You don't need to bring out the water hoses and everything. Just a drop and a little goes a long way. So going back to what I was saying earlier about the habits, well, the habits are needed to make that little and little and create chains, to create sort of sequences that build up into something larger. It's like that expression, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Now, of course, I don't endorse eating elephants or support anything like that. I'm actually a pescatarian, so I try not to eat as much animal meat as possible. But the point of the matter is that it's all about doing things consistently. And they say, and I'm not sure if what the scientific studies or whatnot are to back this up, but they say that we establish new habits or break existing habits after doing them repeatedly for 21 days or 3 weeks. And I haven't really tried it to test if that's the actual breaking point, but in my experience, that sounds kind of about right. 3 to 4 weeks, call it a month, is generally enough of a time for us, if we're doing something new, for it to stick, or if we're trying to get rid of something, for it to slowly kind of wean off. And, we all will relapse. We all might experience moments where we kind of slip back into our bad habits. But as long as we kind of create this forward momentum and keep progressing and keep advancing, that's when we can actually make momentum on our journey. That's when we can actually see progress on the spiritual path. So I'll give you an example that applies more directly to spirituality. Like, let's say, for example, that you want to meditate more and you want to create this inner stillness and you want to create sort of this part of the day where you can just shut everything out and you can just travel inward. And you found that meditation is a wonderful way of doing so. Well, instead of trying to be like me and going straight for the all or none approach and going for 5 hours a day, try 15 minutes a day. Try 15 minutes a day and see if you can do that for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And if you can do that consistently and you feel that it's sufficient, then you can continue doing that. If you feel like you can take it up a notch a little bit more, then see if you can do 30 minutes, see if you can do 45, an hour. But the point is to do it gradually. The point is to do it systematically and to do it to a point where it's sustainable. Nothing is good if it's short-lived. You have to treat everything as if you're going to do it for the rest of your life. And I know that sounds pretty bold, right? But I look at these videos, for example. I see myself, God willing, health permitting, and so on and so forth, as doing this for the rest of my life because it's something I enjoy. It's something that I can fit into my schedule. And if all else goes well, I can certainly continue doing one once a week. Will I go to more than once a week? Time will tell. I'd have to really have a lot of videos, kind of backed up in order to consider doing that. But I think for the time being, even doing a little by little, you can see how much the channel has grown in terms of the videos, in terms of the content. And I'm really pleased by that. Certainly if you told me 3 years ago that, you'd have a channel that has over 500 videos 3 years later, I definitely wouldn't believe you. But, look where we are today with both the combination of the long form content and also the short form content. So I know this topic of habits maybe, applies more to people that are interested in setting good habits, as it relates to their daily living or their work or their school, those sorts of settings. But believe me, it has a lot of importance and relevance in the spiritual setting as well, probably perhaps even more so. Because if you look at all the yogis, all the ascetics, they all have specific habits, they all have specific routines. And many of them never let that habit slip for even one day. I try to post something on the channel at least every day. And I've even gotten, praise for even doing that on days where I feel sick. I remember there's a period of time where I actually had COVID and I was still producing videos. And I probably shouldn't, because I think in a couple of those videos, you can hear it in my voice that I definitely was congested and wasn't at my best. But I did not want to let it go for one day, for one moment. I just wanted to keep building and building and building and building. And it gets to a point where the momentum is so strong that it's very hard to pull back. It's very hard to stop. But you also have to be gentle with yourself. You also have to be loving toward yourself and realize that, look, sometimes life does get in the way, or sometimes things happen and you're not able to do things the way you want every single day. And that's okay, as long as you see the grander picture of things. If, in 2025, you meditate 90 days, whereas this year you only meditated 30 days, well, even if your goal next year is 120 days, you're still doing better than where you were before. So that's the way to look at it. You're progressing forward, you're advancing. And so no matter what your goals are, no matter what you're striving towards, no matter how you want to develop as a person, how you want to develop as a spiritual being, make sure that you're setting the right habits. Make sure that you're setting the right routine. And sometimes it will require some adjustments along the way. It will require some tweaking. I certainly never feel like things are always good. I will always try to tweak it a little bit here and there. Not always, but sometimes, I get a new idea, or I want to try something different, and I'm always tweaking, but I'm never really changing the actual habit itself, if that makes sense. So I hope this video, it's kind of short and sweet. I don't intend for it to be a video of how to set habits, but really more so to explain why you should set habits and why habits should form an essential part of your spiritual routine and your spiritual journey. But if you do have questions, or if you want to learn more, please let me know in the comments below. I'm certainly happy to create another video on this, or to expand on this, or to address any specific questions you might have. You can always reach out to me either in the comments, or if you go on my website, you can also shoot me a note, and I'm happy to connect with you that way as well. But there's a lot of great videos out there, a lot of great resources for the power of habits. I wanted to maybe focus this a little bit more on the spiritual relevance of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please take a moment to drop a like if you enjoyed the video. And I look forward to sharing another video with you soon, one of these days. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.